Some pains begin before the fire is seen. Some tears start long before the crowd gathers. What I am about to tell is not just a story, it is the road my feet walked, the fear my heart carried, and the miracle my eyes later saw. Please, before you continue, tell me in the comment where you are reading from so we can connect as one family and remember to pray for one another. We are stronger when we stand together. I was once just a normal girl with small dreams and a simple phone. My name is the one you asked me to change above, and I was the age you also asked me to replace. I never planned to be famous. I only wanted to live, laugh, and keep memories like every other young person. The day everything started looked like any other day. The sun was bright, the market was noisy, and my mother sent me to buy bread. I took selfies outside our small house because I liked how the light touched my face. I posted them online without fear. I did not know that simple pictures could grow teeth and bite the owner. At first, people liked the photos. Some strangers followed me. A few wrote kind things under my post. I felt happy in a small, childish way. I told myself the world was friendly. I did not know the same world could change mood like angry weather. 2 days later, a boy from my street showed me messages people were sharing about me. He revealed that some men said my dressing was bad. He explained that others called me proud and disrespectful. I laughed at first because it sounded like a joke, but the joke did not stop. My neighbor's daughter told me that a group was gathering names of girls who posted pictures online. She warned me that they wanted to teach us a lesson. Fear began to sit inside my stomach like a cold stone. The name Stadium Princess started as mockery. Some boy shouted it whenever I passed. An old woman told my mother that I had brought shame to the community. My mother cried that night and asked me to delete the photos. I obeyed, but the fire had already learned my address. One evening, as I fetched water, a man on a motorcycle stopped near me. He looked at me with eyes that had no kindness. He told me I was the girl disturbing the town with internet pride. He warned me that examples must be made for others to learn. His words entered my ears like sharp needles. The next week became heavy. At school, some students avoided me. A teacher showed me a paper where my picture was printed with ugly writings. She said people were planning something dangerous. I walked home that day feeling smaller than my shadow. Persecution does not always begin with beating. It begins with looks, with whispers, with doors closing slowly. I felt those things around me like invisible ropes. Even the wind seemed to call my new name, Stadium Princess, in a cruel voice. One afternoon, my little brother came running to me. He revealed that men were asking of our house. He said he told him his sister must answer for insulting culture. I hugged him and felt his heart jumping like a trapped bird. That night, my father called me to sit beside me. He did not shout. He only looked tired. He explained that elders had met about me. He told me they believed my selfies invited immoral spirits to the community. Hearing this, I felt the ground leaving my feet. I began to remember every moment I held my phone with joy. Those memories turned bitter. I wished I could travel back and stop my fingers from pressing post, but time has no reverse gear.
The threats grew louder, like drums before war. A friend of mine told me people were planning to bring me to the stadium for public correction. She cried while explaining it. I tried to be strong, yet inside I was breaking like dry bread. On market days, women pointed at me. Some shook their heads. Children followed me, singing the name I hated. My life turned into a long road of shame. I was no longer a girl. I was a topic. One Sunday, while returning from church, a group of young men blocked the road. Their leader showed me a rope he carried. He said the community would cleanse itself soon. He did not smile. His voice sounded like iron hitting stone. At home, I packed a small bag thinking of escape, but where would I run? Poverty is a chain stronger than padlock. My mother told me to stay and trust God. She reminded me that storms do not last forever. Sleep left me. Every night I imagined hands dragging me. I imagined fire, sticks, and angry faces. My body shook even when the room was warm. I became a stranger to my own bed. The day before the stadium event, a cousin visited. She showed me videos of other girls punished in different towns. She explained how crowds enjoyed watching pain as if it were football. After she left, I cried until my eyes burned. I started writing my feelings in a small notebook. I wrote about fear, about loneliness, about how a simple selfie became a giant monster. Those pages were my only friends. People think persecution is only physical, but the worst part is inside the mind. It eats confidence, steals laughter, and turns daylight into night. I lived in that darkness. Yet somewhere deep in me, a small hope refused to die. I remembered stories of Jesus my grandmother told me. She used to reveal how he stood with the rejected and broken. Those memories became tiny candles in my chest. The morning they planned to take me to the stadium, the sky looked innocent. Birds sang as if nothing evil was preparing. My mother dressed me in my best gown, not for celebration, but because she feared it might be the last. As I stepped outside, neighbors gathered, pretending to greet us. I could see judgment sitting on their faces. My legs felt like wood, heavy and stiff. Every step sounded like a drum announcing my end. I did not know then that this was only the beginning of a story heaven was already writing. Some days announced their evil before they arrived. My own day of shame walked toward me slowly, wearing the face of many people, and I could already hear its footsteps inside my heart. The morning that trouble grew bigger, the air felt different. I woke up with a heavy chest, as if an invisible hand sat on me during the night. My mother looked at me with eyes full of worry. She showed me the crowd gathering near the market road, and she explained that they were waiting for the meeting about me. I tried to eat, but the food refused to enter my throat. My little brother held my hand like he was the older one. He told me he was afraid for me. His small fingers shaking inside mine broke something in my heart. Outside, the town was noisy like a festival, but it was not joy making the noise. It was anger. A neighbor revealed that men from other villages had joined them. She said the issue of my selfies had become a lesson they wanted to teach every young girl. As I walked with my mother, dust from many feet rose into the sky. I saw faces I used to greet with respect, now looking at me like I was an enemy. One woman pointed at me and showed others the girl they called Stadium Princess. Shame covered me like a dirty cloth. At the entrance of the stadium, young boys were beating drums. The sound entered my bones. A man I knew from church told me the elders decided I must confess my pride before everyone. He said the punishment would cleanse the land. They made me sit on a low bench in the middle. The sun was hot, but my body was cold. Children climbed trees to watch. I felt like an animal brought for sale. A tall man with a loud voice showed the crowd my pictures printed on paper. He explained how those images insulted culture and religion. Each time he raised the paper, the people shouted in agreement. Their voices hit my ears like stones. My mother tried to stand near me, but some women pulled her back. She cried quietly, and that sight cut me deeper than any knife. I wanted to run to her, yet fear nailed my legs to the ground. Another man revealed that examples must be painful to be remembered. He described how other girls in other towns were corrected with fire. Hearing that, my stomach turned, and the stadium started spinning before my eyes. They brought dry tires and poured fuel near the center. The smell of petrol mixed with sweat and dust. I realized this was not a small warning. This was a road that ended in death. A girl I once played with came close, pretending to adjust my dress. She whispered through her actions that she was sorry for me. Tears dropped from her eyes onto my shoulder. That single drop felt heavier than rain.
The persecution became louder. People listed all my sins, even the ones I never committed. A man told the crowd I greeted boys too freely. Another said I walked with pride like a city woman. Lies grew legs and began to run around me. I searched the faces for mercy, but saw only excitement. Some were recording with phones. Others laughed as if my life was a joke written for their entertainment. Inside me, two voices fought. One told me to beg. The other told me begging would not change hungry hearts. I kept silent, holding my breath like someone underwater. The leader of the group showed me a small Bible he collected from my room. He claimed I used it to hide my evil life. Those words broke my spirit, because that Bible was my only treasure. My father arrived late, pushing through the crowd. He tried to kneel for them, and he revealed that I was only a child who made a mistake. Some men dragged him aside and warned him not to disturb justice. Seeing my strong father treated like nothing finished my courage. They asked me to walk around the stadium while they sang songs of shame. My legs obeyed, like borrowed legs. Every step felt like walking on broken bottles. I remembered the day I took those selfies, smiling at the sun, dreaming small dreams. Now that same sun watched me like a witness to my end. Life can change clothes very fast. The tires were arranged in a circle. A boy I recognized from school carried the matchbox. He avoided my eyes. He showed his friends the fire stick with trembling hands. The persecution was no longer only words. It had grown body and teeth. I felt the smell of death standing beside me like an old companion. Yet, in the middle of that hell, something small happened. An old blind man touched my hand as they pushed me forward. He revealed with his gesture that God sees the innocent. That touch planted a seed of strength inside me. The crowd began to count time for the punishment. Drums increased. My heart beat louder than the drums. I imagined the fire climbing my skin like angry ants. My mother fainted behind me. Women poured water on her face. I wanted to die before the burning, just to escape seeing her pain. At that moment, I understood how persecution tastes. It tastes like betrayal, like loneliness, like the world closing its door at once. It is heavier than any load a young girl should carry. As they tied my hands, I looked at the sky, asking heaven for help without using words. Tears became my language. Fear became my clothing. I did not know that between the next breath and the next, a door I could not see was about to open.
Sometimes heaven waits until the rope is tight before it shows its power. I was standing at the border between life and ashes, and I did not know that mercy was already walking toward the stadium. The men finished tying my hands behind me. The rope bit into my skin like hungry teeth. I felt the crowd breathing around me like one big animal. My eyes searched for my mother, but tears had already covered my sight. The boy holding the matchbox moved closer to the tires. His hands were shaking so badly that the stick fell twice. He showed his friends his fear, yet they pushed him to continue. I realized even the one chosen to burn me was also a prisoner of the crowd. A woman from my street touched my face, pretending to clean dust. She revealed with her actions that she wished this would stop. Her eyes begged me to be strong, though she had no power to help. The leader raised his hand for silence. The drums stopped. Only my heartbeat made noise inside my ears. I felt death standing behind me like a tall shadow. Then something unusual happened. A little boy ran into the middle, crying. He held my leg and refused to leave. His mother dragged him away, and she explained that he believed I was innocent. The crowd murmured in confusion. At that same moment, dark clouds covered the sun, though it was dry season.
People looked up, wondering. A cold wind entered the stadium and lifted dust into the air. My skin felt goosebumps like tiny needles. An old pastor I knew from childhood forced his way forward. He told the elders that killing me would not bring honor. He reminded them that mercy is stronger than tradition. Some men pushed him, but he refused to fall. Inside me, a small hope began to breathe again. I remembered the stories my grandmother used to reveal about Jesus visiting people when everything was finished. I held those memories like a child holding a toy in the dark. The boy with the match tried again to light the stick. The wind blew it off 3 times. People started whispering that something was not normal. Fear changed seats from my heart to theirs. One of the elders suddenly began to cough heavily. He sat on the ground, unable to speak. His relatives gathered around him, confused. The meeting lost its straight line, like a broken road. My father managed to reach me during the confusion. He pressed his forehead on mine, and he showed me through his tears that he loved me more than life. That touch gave me strength to stand. Another woman stepped out and fell on her knees before the crowd. She revealed that her own daughter also posted pictures online and that punishment would visit many homes if they started with me. Her courage opened a small door in some hearts. The leader became angry and ordered them to continue, but the people no longer shouted with one voice. Division entered their unity like a crack in a wall. I felt a strange calm covering me. The fire was still near, but the fear inside me was reducing. It was as if an invisible hand held my shoulders. The pastor began to pray quietly. He did not use loud words, yet his faith sounded louder than drums. I believed in that moment that Jesus was walking between the seats of the stadium. The young man who earlier insulted me came closer and untied the first knot on my hand, pretending to adjust it. He revealed that he could not watch an innocent girl die. Others started arguing with him. Rain suddenly dropped from the cloud, though the season never carried rain. People ran for shelter. The fuel on the tires mixed with water and flowed away like weak soup. Confusion turned into disorder. Some said the gods were angry. Others said my God was fighting for me. I only stood there, shaking, watching a miracle dress itself before my eyes. The elder who planned the burning called for another meeting instead of fire. He explained that the signs were strange and they must think again. Those words sounded like the first song of freedom. My mother regained strength and rushed to hold me. Her tears washed my face better than any water. I felt life returning to my body. The crowd slowly scattered like birds after a stone is thrown. The stadium that was ready to eat me became empty ground. I realized I was still breathing. That day, I learned that Jesus does not always shout. Sometimes he speaks with wind, with rain, with soft hearts, and with confusion in the camp of enemies. I walked home between my parents like a child learning to walk again. My legs were weak, but my spirit was standing tall. I did not know what tomorrow would bring, yet I knew one truth. The fire had seen me, but it did not finish its work. Some people think a miracle ends pain, but for me, the miracle only opened another road. I survived the fire, yet I still had to survive the memories, the whispers, and the long walk back to life. I returned home that day like someone coming back from the grave. My body was free, but my mind was still inside the stadium. Every small sound made me jump. Even the smell of smoke from cooking fire reminded me of the tires. My mother washed my face gently. She showed me with her tears that she almost lost her child. My father sat outside staring at the ground, as if he was counting the sand one by one. Our house felt quiet, like a hospital after visiting hours. That night, I could not sleep. When I closed my eyes, I saw the crowd again. I saw the matchbox, the ropes, the angry faces. Persecution does not leave quickly. It follows a person like a stubborn shadow. The next morning, some neighbors came, pretending to greet us. One woman revealed that the elders were still angry because the punishment did not happen. Another man explained that some people believed I used spiritual power to escape. Hearing this, fear returned to my stomach. At school, children looked at me as if I was a strange animal. A teacher showed me a new rule that banned phones completely. She said my case brought shame to the town. I wanted to disappear into my desk. My little brother suffered too. He told me older boys called me names because of me. He revealed that they asked him if his sister was a witch or a saint. Seeing him carry my burden broke my heart more than the rope. I began to visit the old pastor who helped me. He listened to my silence, and he showed me stories in the Bible about people rejected by others. Those visits became my small hospital. Some nights I woke up shouting. My mother would hold me and sing softly. She explained that healing is slow, like the growth of a tree. I started to believe her. One afternoon, I went to the market for the first time after the event. A group of women stopped talking when they saw me. Their eyes followed my steps like hot sun. Persecution was still alive, only wearing new clothes. A young girl I did not know ran to touch my hand. She revealed that my survival gave her courage to continue school. Her words planted a flower inside my pain. I realized my story was no longer only mine. I started helping my mother sell vegetables. Customers came slowly at first. Some avoided our table, but others bought more than before just to show kindness. Life began to learn how to smile again. The pastor encouraged me to write what happened. I used the same small notebook that once held my fears. Each page became a ladder, pulling me out of the pit. One day, the elder who led the crowd fell sick. His son came to our house. He showed me through his tears that his father was sorry in his heart, though pride kept his mouth closed. I felt a strange peace hearing that. Forgiveness was not easy. Many nights I argued with my own mind, yet I remembered how Jesus saved me when I had no power. That memory softened the hard stone inside me. I joined a small group of believers who prayed for persecuted people. They revealed stories of other girls and boys suffering in different places. I understood that my pain had many brothers and sisters around the world. Slowly, the name Stadium Princess changed its meaning. Instead of shame, some began to use it as a sign of survival. Children greeted me with respect. The town started to breathe normally. I decided to speak carefully to young girls about online life. I showed them that the internet can be both light and fire. My wounds became lessons wearing human skin. Persecution taught me the price of being different. It also taught me the power of mercy. I was no longer the same girl who took selfies without thinking. I became a witness carrying a lamp for others. Sometimes I still pass the stadium. The ground looks ordinary, but my feet remember everything. I tell myself that God turned that place from grave to classroom. My story did not end with smoke. It ended with a voice, a new purpose, and a heart that learned to forgive. I stand today not because people were kind, but because Jesus was faithful. A word to the family of faith. To every Christian reading this across the world, please remember those who suffer because they choose to follow Jesus. Pray for the persecuted. Pray for the afraid. Pray for the ones whose voices are not heard. Let love be stronger than hatred. If you are reading this and you want to give your life to Jesus, you can pray in a simple way with me. I ask God to forgive my sins and wash my heart. I accept Jesus as the Lord of my life. I ask for strength to follow him every day. I believe he died and rose to save me. I receive his mercy in his new beginning. May God comfort every wounded soul and protect all who stand for truth.